Hey everyone, my name is Shane Bassett, your host, the movie analyst, and I'm here today with a very special guest from across the other side of the world. I'm getting to talk to someone from a movie called The Stolen Valley. My name is Shane, as I just said, and this is Briza. Am I saying your name right? I know I'm butchering it, right?
Listen, it's super close. It's Brisa, but Brisa does just as fine. Thank you so much, Shane, for asking.
No, that's okay. I'm the worst with accents. But what do you like? You're an actor. Can you do accents? Can you do the Australian accent or various accents?
I mean, I can do a couple accents. I've been working on my English accent, but so is every actor we know. I speak different languages. That helps, but other than that, I don't know if I can truly, to be honest with you.
You'll get there. You'll sound like Bridget Jones soon enough, I'm
Oh,
sure.
that's a compliment. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, let's get stuck into it. To start with, I want to talk about a couple of things that you've already done in your career, but right now, this movie, as we talked a little bit off air, it's gaining traction. I enjoyed it. It's a little indie film. It's a Western, but it's a modernist Western, I reckon, The Stolen Valley. It's got a lot more layers to it than people might think. How did you're a lead in it, one of the leads. How did it come about? Did you have to go for an audition? Were you handpicked by the director? Tell me a little
Sure.
bit the process.
Well, thank you so much for having us. I mean, yes, it is a little indie film, and I never thought I would be talking about it across the world. So this is really exciting. How did I come across it? It was 2020, it was COVID times, and things were really slow. And I would have never thought in a million years that I would come across. I self-submitted, but I came across this awesome storyline with such a badass. Am I allowed to curse? Is that okay?
You can if you need to. That's no problem at all.
With such a badass character like Lupe, this is the type of role that a lot of a lot of actors, can wish for. And just as a woman, and a woman of color, like I never thought I could do something like this. So I immediately jumped on the train. I We as actors, I try not to like hold on to a role, but the moment I self tape for it, I was like, well, I hope, and I couldn't stop thinking about it.
Well, I'm glad it worked out. Is it something that you pursue? Like it's an action film and there's a lot of physical moments in it. Was that something that really made you think, well, I can do it, or it strived you to really want the role a bit more?
I think, yeah, well, yes to everything you said. And I also know that, I came into this film thinking, really crossing my fingers, because I've always wanted to pursue more of a comedy route, drama as well, but I never thought I could do action. I never thought that I could do something as adventurous. And I told Jesse, our director, Jesse Edwards, after this film, it's really revolutionized the roles that I want. It's really changed the way that I
Really?
look at my career. Oh yeah, I'm in Taekwondo now. I'm taking all these classes. I want to be badass like Lupus. So I'm working on all my skills now.
Yeah, I think she has a big heart as well. The emotional scenes that you had with family, and then
Yeah.
you made a new friend on the in the plot, but the family side of things must have been important too, because maybe because of your heritage and your background, did you sort of combine it into one?
100%. A lot of quickly, a lot of Lupe's wardrobe was actually coming from my own family. There's a sweater that belongs to my father. There's jewelry that
Ah,
belongs to my mother, that my uncle, and so I'm super close with my family. I have a huge family. Just I have over 30 first cousins. Yep. So it's like coming from like this, kind of culture. I think it was really easy for me to tap into it and really be honest and with everything that Lupe was going through.
I can't let that go. 30 first cousins. That's huge. Like obviously
Yeah,
does that
we're
mean are they everywhere or are they all in one place? Like
no, we're everywhere. I think we're some in Texas, some in Utah, where we filmed, some here in LA, and then the rest of them are in Mexico. My grandmother had seven daughters and four boys, so yeah, they didn't have cable back then.
that's well, yeah, that's a good reason enough, I guess. Uh, why did you choose acting and performing? Was that something that you grew up always wanting to do? Did you fall into it, early in your career? Was it just
Right.
something that clicked?
Yeah, a little bit of that. I think there's a lot of VHS tapes of me when I was a young kid. At first, I wanted to be a telenovela star, so I did a lot of recreating
Yeah,
those scenes. I'm a big fan of Eugenio Derbez. He's a Mexican comedian. Jim Carrey. A lot of different actors have influenced me, but I will say, since I was a kid, there was something very I was in love with making people laugh. I was in love with telling stories. I
yeah.
was in love with making people experience something outside of their day to day. So I definitely had that in me, 100%.
Was is comedy something harder than action? Now you've done both. What do you think would be the hardest to, make the most of and pull it off?
I personally think even a lot of my training is improv. I've done Second City and Groundlings and a lot of different avenues and improv troops. I think comedy is a lot harder than
Yeah,
anything, to be
yeah,
honest. Yeah, because you have to, if it's live, you have to gauge your audience. If it's not live, then you have to be 100% authentic with your reactions. You don't want to play for laughs, but you definitely have to believe everything that you're saying. So it's a catch 22, but I mean, I enjoy it.
Well, that's tough, improv especially. And have you had times when you've been on stage, maybe even doing stand up, where nothing's worked and you just have to think to yourself, oh, will I keep going?
Uh, yes, I have. I was in a performance troupe, and I think one show I did trainings, and my jokes were just not landing, and I remember just like coming off stage like, well, shit,
Yep.
I really thought that one was gonna land, but that's the beauty of it. You just have to keep going, and now you know what doesn't work, and I'm sure comedians talk about this all the time.
Mm.
Every city has different things, every audience has different tastes, so the beauty of live audiences is you gauge them, you kind of read the room, and even when nothing works, you just have to keep going. You have to really just keep going, right?
Yeah,
It's
no,
like the
that's with life as well, right?
yeah, that is true. That is true. Absolutely.
Speaking of which, when you there's inclusivity is huge and so important, and it's changed, like especially Hollywood and entertainment in general. Did you have any hurdles along the way, or anyone sort of saying no to you, or any problems as you were coming through the ranks, or was it smooth sailing?
Oh, it's hard. I would say it's really hard. I think, as actors of color, I think there's a whole other hurdle to go through. I think
Mm,
being believed as the lead, being believed as someone who moves the story when it's not stereotypical, that's one of the biggest hurdles I go through. And think as a woman, a lot of the ways that you look, the way that your body is made, your skin tone has a lot of influence on how people perceive you. And
mm,
sometimes you might be the right choice for something, but someone in the production team, because I've also helped cast,
yeah,
sometimes they just can't get past their own judgment. And at the end of the day, that's why I always say we have to diversify. I'm not saying completely,
yeah,
yes, but we don't have to make it one specific culture. We need to diversify a lot of points of views so that we can have the beauty of different stories. So
yeah.
have I had those moments? Yes. I've been told no. Yes, I have. I think all actors have at one point.
Well, I'm glad Jesse said yes to the Stolen Valley. That is very important. That's why we're here. Uh, there was some locations that looked a bit scary in some ways. Did anyone get hurt? Did you have any injuries, or to get bitten by any scorpions or anything like that?
Fortunately, I didn't really get injured, and I didn't get injured in Utah. I think the biggest hurdle I had was in Utah was the weather. I'm from LA. I'm from Los
Yep.
Angeles. It's warm here. Anything under 70 degrees is winter for me. So there were scenes where they call action, and then as soon as Jesse would call cut, I'm like, somebody get me a hot chocolate. All right. But before the film, I originally my character, I thought that I was going to be on horses. So that's
Yeah.
something I know how to do. I didn't know how to be on a motorcycle, so I did have to learn to do that. And
Oh,
very quickly, my father has been driving motorcycles all his life, but when he taught me, I ended up in the hospital on my first try. Everything was fine.
oh,
I
that's
remember
good.
calling the producers and talking about like, guys, I don't know if I can do this anymore. So gratefully they gave me someone to teach me who's done stunts before. And so I was able to learn on, smaller bikes, etc. And my father came with me, but I'll never forget. I did learn on like a 3000 VTX bike. So it's like it's a big one, huge.
Yeah.
So I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson.
Well, you pulled it off. You look like you've been riding for years on screen.
Thank you so much. Because I wasn't, and that was hard. But I thought I was gonna have a stunt for a lot of those things, and there were moments where they're like, "Okay, Briza's gonna drive. They were gonna put it here, and then we're gonna keep going." And then I'm like, "What?" So, I would say that that experience alone helped me tap into Lupe because Lupe, as loving, as caring, and as sometimes naive, she
Mm.
really is someone who I'm sure has fell off her bike, who doesn't mind getting dirty as a mechanic, who's willing to do anything that it takes. So I think that experience kind of showed me like, humbled me. Lupe isn't just someone who loves, it's also someone who fights. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the Lupe stands up for herself. It's centered around her, like I said, and she stumbles across this adventure just trying to and making a hard decision of cashing in some personal items and then gets caught up in the mix.
Yeah,
Uh,
she does.
yeah. Was the script changed at all as you filmed, or was it all as by the screenplay as you went? Did you improv anything, or did some scenes get changed or cut?
Yes, 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 and yes. There was a
Uh,
lot of I know there was a couple like rewrites. I know we came back to location I think 3 times,
oh,
and every
okay.
time something a little different. And there were moments where I think there was one specific scene. A lot of the dancing scenes, I was really happy and proud of Jesse to be so open and collaborative. I was able
Yeah.
to bring my experience in that. There were some scenes where Allie and I were like, well, I think we could maybe play with this. So rule of thumb, and this is how I try to do it. I give the takes that the director wants, and then if I want to bring something to it, I'd say, if we have time, can we try it this way? And I was really happy that certain moments bled in. Wow.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I can't go without talking about the dancing scene, and
Uh,
that displayed some of your comedy. So that was very funny. And at first, I've seen the movie twice. It kind of not seemed out of place, but it was a different moment I wasn't
yeah,
expecting.
yeah.
And then the second time, it just fit and was very funny. The beautiful dress. You are a decent dancer, or are you just faking that as well as an actor?
Well, the folklorico scene, the very first part, that's a Mexican dance. I did train in that when I was younger,
Okay.
so
Yep.
that I had to learn that choreography the day before, which
Yep.
was, a stumble. But then I was told I was gonna have a stunt double for the flamenco scene. But
Right.
then after he saw me dancing, my stunt double was like, "No, you can do it." And I'm like, "What?" You can do it. And so I had to learn a second choreography right then and there. So a lot of those movements, she did help here and there, but a lot of it was primarily myself. So I surprised myself, to be honest with you. There's something about muscle memory,
Oh
and
yeah.
for those watching, you heard Shane said it. You have to watch it twice, and
Yes.
I think you'll have fun doing it. So thank you.
Does that mean you're up for maybe a musical, song and dance film? There's a lot of musicals getting made now. Are you
Oh
up
my
for that maybe?
God. I'm definitely up for it. I think a big dream would be to be on Broadway. We'll get there when we get there, right? But yeah, sure, why not? I'm manifesting that. Thank you. Thank you for throwing that out there.
Have you ever been down under? Have you visited Australia at all?
No, I have not. That's definitely a place I really wanna visit. I've been close to it, but no,
Okay.
not haven't been.
How close? Did you go to New Zealand or something like that?
Yeah, maybe my geography is wrong, so never mind. I don't even want to say. I think I've heard. Is Diego Garcia close by?
No,
No,
I don't think
no.
so.
Just kidding. Okay, then no, no, I haven't. I haven't been close enough, but it's definitely a place I really want to visit. And I've met some incredible Australian individuals in my life. So it leaves room to go to visit Australia or New Zealand. Both of them look beautiful, I must
Yeah,
say.
well, we're next door to each other. Beautiful places, lots of movie productions happening in television, so you never know your luck.
Yeah, there's a couple. I think it is an Australian show, Creamery. It's on Hulu. It's a comedy, and it's these women. Okay, so you do know the show. Yeah,
Yep.
it's great. I know Taika Waititi did a film in New Zealand,
Yep.
and I do follow a couple individuals who are Aboriginal individuals, indigenous people to those lands. So
Yep.
it's a beautiful culture. It's definitely a place I really want to visit and maybe someday work in. Who knows?
I hope so. I hope we cross paths someday on a
Oh, I
project,
hope
maybe.
so too, Dave. Thank you so much.
Before we wrap it up, I'd like to ask you about your co-star. You basically are together quite a lot of the movie. Did you and Allie know each other? How was she on set? You know, any stories you can tell me that you got up to?
So we had never met in our lives. I was super nervous to meet her because,
Yeah.
she just looked like this gorgeous, like talented individual. And I'm like, I'm so out of my game here. Then I met her. We went to go eat pizza at Peekaboo Pizza in Canab. And she's just such a beautiful person. We're both Geminis. We were both at similar situations in our lives. We both come from big families. So it was
Yep.
a no-brainer. I think we've talked about this a lot. We want to keep working with each other in the future. It's not going to be the last time.
Yep.
There would not be a Lupe without a Maddie. I love her to death, and I'm just like so grateful and so just really grateful to have worked with her. And Jesse did it right. Jesse did it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Jesse's a young, new director in a way. Uh, that would have been a really good combination of the three of you because it came across on screen anyway. Good chemistry all around.
My gosh. Yeah, it was great to work with him as well. He's super talented. There were all, to his horn. There was moments where, he was directing the scene and we had a different cinematographer, deep
Yeah.
director of photography. And then all of a sudden you just see Jesse like stop and he's like, you know what? Let me just take it. And the guy'd be like, are you sure? Are you sure? Aaron Wheeler. And Jesse would just grab the camera, go on the ground and like in a moving car and just be like, we're going to do it this way. And so there were moments where Jesse just knew, he didn't know how to communicate, but he just knew how to capture a scene. So he is super talented. He's someone I want to keep working with as well. And I'm really glad that you said it came across well because it was a learning curve to like get to know each other, to have worked with each other for the first time, but
Yeah.
we were so collaborative and just we're all kind of cut from the same cloth, I think. So we got along pretty well.
Is there anything you wouldn't do for a role? Like, say you needed to shave your head or, anything? Is there something you would draw the line at, or is you pretty open considering all scripts?
I'm really open to considering all scripts as long as the story's great.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
I mean, if the budget's there, I would shave my head in a heartbeat. Well, not in a heartbeat, but it's definitely something I've considered. I think now in these last couple of years, I've been very selective in what I want to be in and the type of stories I want to tell after the Stolen Valley because I didn't think that these movies were available to me. And now knowing what I'm capable of, I kind of don't want to share, sell myself short. But also, there's projects that I've come across, and I think, you know what, maybe not for me, but I'm very collaborative, and I share it with my fellow actresses and friends.
Yep.
I helped formed one of the groups called. So here in the United States, we had the SAG strike, and I know it affected everybody,
Yeah,
but
it certainly did.
right, but still has. And
Yeah.
I was one of the people that helped create Latinas Acting Up, and it was created by Diana Riva and Lisa, and both of them have done so much for a lot of us. There's a lot of beautiful people on the board as well, Constance and Gina, and so a lot of us are very about sharing the love, sharing the work, supporting one another. And so that's what I try to do wherever I go is that if there's a role out there or a script out there, even if I'm auditioning for it, I want to share it with everyone and see, who's the best fit for it as well. I talk a
Can,
lot. Jade,
no,
sorry.
no, that's great. I'm aware of time, so we've only got a couple more minutes. Tell me, can you surf? I love surfing and sport. What do you do outside of acting? Are you a surfer, or is there other activities that you love to do?
I love surfing. I'm terrible at it, but I love it. I have two
That's
longboards.
all right.
I'm a beach person, so I'm always
Yeah.
at the beach running or swimming. I do dance. I do take dance classes here and there, and my
Yeah.
newest adventure has been taking Taekwondo. I'm the only adult in the class, and it's
Wow.
been very humbling to learn from like teenagers and kids.
Uh, are you interested in helping more people, Indigenous young actors, come through the ranks and be confident? Is that something that you would look forward to do, or be a mentor?
Oh, 100%. Lily Gladstone said it, she opened the door and she wants to keep that door open for a lot of
Yeah,
us. I hope to do the same. Again, with the Latinas Acting Up, we are working and trying to create more opportunities. I have volunteered with a lot of, high after school programs for kids and try to do a couple talkbacks because I want to help specifically the Indigenous and Latino community. I want to help influence them positively and let them know our stories matter. We have a diverse, beautiful plethora of stories that we want to share. And I think
yeah,
if we even want to talk about it from a business standpoint, there's money to be said there because there's a
for
lot of
sure.
stories to tell. I think with a lot of these reboots, yes, they're all nostalgic, and sure, you might have a promise of selling tickets, but who's to say these new stories that are coming forward won't do the same? We've seen it happen time and time again. Creamery, such a diverse cast and story. I
Yes,
love it. It's I've never thought about it from that point of view. We had these movies, Black Panther, they did fantastic. Jane the Virgin with Gina, Crazy Rich Asians. We have all these different stories, and so I want to be able to help influence and like bring those stories about. Oh, my dog just came.
that's really good to hear. And I think you're right with Lily. Lily was so good in that film and her previous work. So it's just the beginning for sure.
Awesome. Thank you so
Lily
much.
Gladstone, of course.
Oh, I appreciate it. I hope so. Fingers crossed.
And I can't go without saying you have been in some great productions, but you're part of the legacy of Grey's Anatomy, which just announced like a 21st season or something. That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah. Oh my
You've been in it, right? How did that come about?
God, yeah.
Have you got good memories?
Oh, I have fantastic memories. 10 years ago before we filmed, I was an extra on the show and I
Oh
never thought
wow.
in my wildest dreams that I would be back as a guest star. So it was an incredible time to be on set, to meet some of the legends that I respect and to be able to work on a script that really meant a lot for me, with what is going on in the world. I think it's really important to talk about women's issues. And so
Oh
thank you
yeah.
so much for bringing that up. I appreciate it.
Well, I hope to see Lupe, the more adventures of Lupe. I hope we see another Stolen Valley, or you at least work with Jesse or Ali, as you said again, maybe. And let's cross my fingers for that. Appreciate your time. Any last words on the Stolen Valley? Why should people watch it? Have you got any recommendations? Because there's so much to choose from when you're flicking through channels and looking to what to watch.
Right, right. Um, well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate your time and your positivity. I think
Thanks.
the biggest message here is, people are going to see themselves represented for the very first time and in such a unique way. I'm just so lucky to be a part of it. Um, a quick story: when we were in Utah, an audience member came up to me and said, we were going to watch Dune and we decided to watch your movie because of your poster. And
Oh,
person is Dene. He is Navajo. And he said, thank you so much. I've never seen myself represented in this way. And so
oh,
it's a big responsibility. We had a lot of beautiful Dene actors as well. So when you watch this, you're going to watch a heartfelt, collaborative experience. And yeah, you just give it a try. Give it a try. Someone selected it over Dune. That means a lot. Okay.
give it a try and watch it twice, because it's one of those movies that I believe was better the second time. And the poster, you're right. I haven't even brought that up. That's a really striking poster, and something I hope you've got your own copy of, because it's one for the ages.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Allie and we did that damn thing, man. We did it. And I'm just like so like I'm still at a loss of words that we're here. We're still talking about it and just so grateful that it's been, you know, now distributed around the world, hopefully soon. Yes, just kidding. It will come out soon.
It
Jesus.
is, yeah. And
I'm getting my dates mixed.
oh, that's okay. And one thing you're definitely not is at a loss for words. Trust me, Breeza. You're very good at talking, a bit like me.
Thank you. No, it was a pleasure talking to you, Shane. Anytime. I hope to catch up with you soon, whether